Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for joining me for another Puzzle and Dragons video. I'm Alpha and today we're hitting episode 3 of the Get Good Noob Guide, Combo Guide to Combo Good and Stuff. That's it. Let's hop in. So, in this episode, we're going to be going over the beginnings of stacking and how to get higher combos. So we have our total cheat team here, where we have our June Sopdet, or June Bride Sopdet, I should say, which gives us an extra 5 seconds of movement time, and all of our great subs, which are obviously lower tier cards than June Bride Sopdet, but they do come with some time extend awakenings, which will be helpful for us. So let's go ahead and jump into our endless corridors, our training ground here. And let's get to work. So we've gone over movement, we've gone over shaping, and we've gone over where to place your combos along the edges is how we want to do it. And now we're going to go over, so what we were trying to do is just kind of getting that combo count up from, let's say if you're getting like 3 combos, 4 combos up to like 5 or 6. It makes a big difference when you're clearing that many orbs so that you can continuously generate the orbs that you need to both heal and attack. So now we're going to get into a more advanced style of comboing, which we call stacking. So before we were doing pathing, when we might just go through, like pathing would be something where we're going through and just kind of making some combos like that, just kind of moving an orb pretty much from one side of the board to the other. That's pretty much pathing. Now stacking, on the other hand, consists of trying to organize the board into 2 sides of 5 combos each, typically utilizing a pattern of 2 horizontal and 3 vertical matches on each side. So when you're matching a board like this, you typically want to approach the left side of the board and the right side of the board independent of each other whenever possible. So if I were to do that, I would see, let's say, we can start with the right side of the board here, which I don't typically do. For whatever reason, just habit, I typically start bottom left side of the board. But if we look here at the orbs we have 3 dark orbs, 3 light orbs. We have actually 4 wood orbs, but we're only going to be able to match 3. And we have 1 that's kind of poking out here, and then 2 heart orbs. So we'd be able to get, we'll just pull that heart orb over and make it join up on the right side of the board. And actually, if we're peeking over at the left side, we realize that we have the ability to make another wood match, so we won't move with our wood orb. We have another match of dark orbs and another match of light orbs. So we're going to, obviously we cannot match our fire orbs, cannot match our wood orbs. And there's ways to optimize that for Skyfall as well, but for now we're just going to go over the optimal setup, which is 2 horizontal matches at the bottom and then 3 vertical matches. So I'm going to show you what would happen if I were to try and just match horizontally all the way up. So watch this. If I were to go and match there and there and there and there. Now look at these 2 orbs here, although in this case I can't really match them anyway, but they are now wasted orbs. You can't do anything with them. So unless you have a very fortunate and lucky board setup, if you are doing horizontal matches all the way up, you will end up with waste orbs that you can't use, that you'll just move out of and they'll be abandoned. So in order to completely optimize, what you want to do is create 2 horizontals. So if you're doing a match of horizontal here, a match of horizontal here, so these 6 orbs are all matched up, then you notice you have 3 orbs here. So you can go vertical And instead of getting yourself stuck, you make a vertical match along the border, and then another one, and then another one, and then you've worked your way out into the opposite side of the board, where once again you have freedom to maneuver. So let's go ahead, let's examine this board, see what we have set up, and what we're going to be able to match. It's not ideal from a left to right perspective because we have fire orbs on opposite sides. We have the ability to match two combos of hearts, but again, we'd have to pull one over. And we also have the ability to make two combos of water, but again, we'd have to pull one over. Same thing with the dark. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's kind of a scrambled up board. We're just going to match up a little bit on this one and try to generate a little bit of a better example. So I'm just getting rid of a few orbs and see what we end up with. We'll go with it, whatever. So let's once again look at the orbs we have here and try and match these up. So we have our fire, we have hearts, we have wood, and we have water. So let's try and get these matched up, and then we'll try and move over to the other side of the board and see what we could do. So looking at the fact that we have 7 wood orbs, I know that I could easily maneuver with 1 wood orb. I could hold it and still be able to make 2 wood orb matches. So that's what I will do here. And that's sometimes how I make the determination of which orb will be my movement orb. If I know I have sufficient time to combo, I don't have to make a very fast first move or two, I will choose the one that is most efficient for creating combos on the board. So we're going to go here, we're just going to go ahead and move down, and we're moving this combo over. Now we want to start putting these flat. Well, you can see we kind of ran out of time there. We can see that right side of the board was set up exactly how we wanted. 2 horizontal, 3 vertical, maneuvering out. Now, if I were to try and really put some speed behind it, I could start doing the same thing on the other side. And sometimes what is useful to do is actually start going with a horizontal up at the top and work your way down, and then once again go for vertical. So basically it would be horizontal, horizontal, vertical, 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 horizontal, horizontal, vertical, vertical, vertical. Now you'd need a pretty optimal board orb count in order to actually match everything, but typically what you end up with is some that have 2, and you could stack those up in a vertical orientation in a way that they would be exposed to the skyfall to maximize the chance that they will match up. So just a very quick example of doing exactly that. Let's say we're we're matching up here and here, and well, that was actually a horrible example because I set up the light at the top and did not set up a combo underneath them. Typically the combo will be on top of them, but it could also be underneath. What I was trying to show is if you're going and going here and here. So let's say, there we go. Now we've created an example. So this is a bad example of stacking, but you can see the 2 water orbs that are now down at the bottom there on the bottom center of the right side of the board. They were of vertical orientation, so you have a 1 in 6 chance that a water orb will fall on top of them. There were these 2. And that's kind of how you want to set up your skyfalls for the optimal chance to do that. So let's go ahead and try to match up as much of the board as possible. I'll try and move quickly and see what I could do here. Like I said, I'm not the best comboer. I'm not someone that often gets a ton of combos. So for me to match up a whole lot, it is, there we go. So we set up as many combos as we could, which in this case was 8, and we actually did set up our skyfalls. That's great. So we got up to 10 combos there, and you can see that the technique here is very sound. This is the what I feel is the best way to optimize your combo count. But you might be saying, Alpha, you were taking all day to make these combos, and that is just not realistic. No one actually leads with June Bride Sopdet. And I would say, I sure as hell do in a non-awakening dungeon, but aside from that, you are absolutely correct. So, what would you do to actually be able to accomplish this in a real-world scenario using a more typical team? And basically what you would want to do is, since we have an extra 5 seconds to move with this leader skill, 3 time extends, 2 time extends, that's 5, 7, 9, 11. We have literally 11 time extends plus 5 seconds in a leader skill. So we have like all day to make these combos, and that's perfect when you're trying to learn the technique, because until you do this enough that you can just visually see the orbs and continuously move them, then you need all this time. Once you have those repetitions in and you're not stopping at any point in order to figure out what the next move should be, then you take out one of these subs for someone that has no time extends. Now you're working with 9 plus a ridiculous leader skill. Then you're working with 7, then 5, then maybe even just 3. 3 is a pretty low amount of time extends in today's meta for having a top end team that you're actually going to tackle hard content with. We do have that 5-second leader skill. So realistically, you could go all the way down to having no time extends if you have that leader skill, or having a few or a handful of them, depending on what sort of team you're actually trying to practice to get good with. So you're able to perform that in a real dungeon. So let's go ahead and try and match up this board again. I'm not going to talk through it. I'm just going to try and match it up. But I do want to choose a good start orb, and it looks like a heart. There's 7 hearts here, and I think I'll start with the heart then. So I'm just going to try and match through in the exact style that I was just talking about. The only thing I see that's a little bit of an issue are these and these. These are pretty far apart, but you'll see as we work through some of our combos that we're going to be able to push these orbs closer to each other as we match up the rest of the board. They're just going to get kind of squeezed out, and then you'll be able to access them. So let's go ahead. What did we say? We're going to move with a heart. So let's go down and move. Oops, I did one too many verticals, and now we've got oh, there we go. We set up our little, we set up a cascade there. I'm sorry, I did one too many horizontals, and when I matched the vertical, they matched together. So that was a pretty big fail. So let's go ahead and try it again. So in this instance, I'm looking at the board. I see I've got 5 dark orbs. I don't mind moving with the dark orb. And looking at the current setup of the board, what I want to do, I'm going to take this one, flatten this out, so go here and then here. So if I do that, I'm going to access this spot, and I'll be able to pull this down like that, and then come up and over to pull that there and make the L shape. So I'll be able to match up the bottom 2. So let's go ahead and do that to get things going. So we're going to go right here. Now we're going to circle those down, circle that over. There we go, hit a diagonal. So not the best combos ever. We got 8 combos. I think the orb count as well as a little bit of my maneuvering limited the amount of combos. I don't know if there was the ability to make more. I'm not really sure. Like I said, it was kind of just freestyling right through that board. So I'll go ahead and try and match up again so you see an example. And guys, there are definitely examples of people using this pattern to match much better than I am currently doing it. I forget the guy. There's a Japanese player who is just fantastic. I, for the life of me, can't remember his name. I'll post it in the comments. But he will play like Anubis. He uses his finger and he just matches all day. He streams on Twitch a lot. and he can set up entire boards like this in moments. What's taking me, a good 10 seconds to do, he'll do in like 4. So there's definitely people that are better. When you just want to see a good example of someone using this technique, definitely look around and you'll find some good stuff on YouTube. Aww. Alright, well, I think that was about the most we could do with our orbs. Yeah, we didn't leave 3 of any type. We got 8. It got a little bit messed up at the end. I'm not following the pattern perfectly, but as the time limit starts kicking in, you start moving a bit faster, and things happen. What can I say? Um, watching me match up random boards in endless quarters probably isn't the best thing you could be doing. You could be practicing this right now, but just remember, we want to do 2 horizontal combinations, 3 verticals working your way out. Then you have 5 combos with an entire half of the board matched up, and you can start working on the other half. And of course, like I said, you can set up the bottom on each so that you kind of like a step ahead of the game. So let's go ahead and do that again. We could go here and there, and you can see we set up the bottom on each. The only issue here is that we made so many darn light orbs together, but we were able to separate them. So we matched up pretty well there. We got, again, 8 combos, and you can kind of see how if you set up a quick combo or 2 to start, it does kind of help your setup. So in this case, let's go ahead. This is going to be the last one, guys. We'll just go over here. Ooh, lay that down. Here I move those there, and there, and there. There we go. So we matched up pretty well, and you see we left those fire orbs vertical. Didn't get a skyfall, but what are you going to do? So we got 8 combos again, and that's about what you could do unless the board is, you have the right orb count of each type. So remember, 2 horizontal, 3 vertical, and then just go crazy and match them all up. It's a little bit of a more advanced technique than some of the earlier videos. Hopefully this is helpful to you guys. If so, please let me know in the comment section down below. And I think up next what we'll try and get into is some of the different orb formations. So TPAs, 5 with sparkles, rows, and what else? I guess that's about it. That's 4, 5, and 6. So we'll get into all that sort of stuff, and we'll even bring along a nice bi-color board changer so we can try and get some high combo counts and learn to row that way. And stupid clock gets right in my face. Stupid clock. 12:10. Anyways, guys, episode 3 is done. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Alpha, and you'll see me next time.